The house stood alone, surrounded by trees, isolated, secluded in the rural countryside of upstate New York. It was a beautiful place, picturesque even, but there was an unsettling stillness, an eerie quiet that hung in the air. You could feel it in your bones. Something wasn't right. My family and I moved into the house in the fall of 2016. We were excited for a fresh start, a chance to escape the city. We didn't know the darkness that awaited us. From the first night, the energy felt heavy, oppressive, like an unseen weight pressing down on us. We brushed it off as getting used to a new place, but deep down a seed of unease had been planted. We would soon learn we weren't alone. This house held secrets, dark secrets, and they were about to be revealed. The first major incident happened a few months after we moved in. My daughter was playing hide and seek with her friends. A common, innocent game. But this time, it took a sinister turn. The children were laughing, their footsteps echoing in the old house. Then, silence. A chilling silence. I called out for my daughter. No answer. "Where are you?" I shouted, my voice tight with concern. Silence. Then I heard it. A faint scratching sound coming from the cellar door, the door that was supposed to be locked. My blood ran cold. I slowly made my way down the creaking steps, each one filled with dread. The air grew thick and heavy, the smell of damp earth and something else, something unidentifiable. At the bottom of the stairs I found my daughter. She was huddled in a corner, her eyes wide with terror. "Daddy," she whispered, her voice trembling, "I saw someone." After the cellar incident, things escalated quickly. The energy in the house felt charged, electric. We would hear noises at night, footsteps in the hallway, floorboards creaking, doors slamming shut on their own. At first we tried to rationalize it. An old house settles. The wind must have blown the door shut. But the explanations rang hollow. The incidents became more frequent, more intense. Whispers seemed to follow us from room to room, indistinct murmurs that sent shivers down our spines. We would catch glimpses of shadows moving in the periphery of our vision, gone as quickly as they appeared. Sleep offered no escape. Nightmares plagued us, vivid, disturbing dreams that left us waking in cold sweats. The line between dreams and reality began to blur. We were living in a constant state of fear. Something was wrong, very wrong. Then came the 3 a.m. wake-up calls, every night, without fail. I would be jolted awake at precisely 3 in the morning. Heart pounding, a sense of dread washing over me. It started subtly, a feeling of unease that would pull me from sleep. Then the feeling intensified. It was like an unseen presence was standing over my bed, watching me. I would lie there, paralyzed with fear, unable to move or speak. The only sound was the deafening thump of my own heart. Minutes would feel like hours. Finally, just as suddenly as it started, the feeling would subside. This went on for a month, every single night. The relentless torment chipped away at my sanity. I was exhausted, terrified, and starting to question my own mind. Was I going crazy, or was something truly evil lurking in the shadows of our home? Section 5. The closet breathed. One stifling summer night, the fear reached a fever pitch. My wife and I lay in bed, unable to sleep. The air was thick with tension. We both felt it. Something was different that night. The energy was more intense, more menacing. Then we heard it, a slow, rhythmic breathing coming from the closet. We froze, our eyes wide with terror. The breathing continued, steady and deliberate. It was close, too close. I slowly got out of bed, my heart pounding in my chest. I took a step toward the closet. The breathing stopped. Silence. I hesitated, my hand hovering over the doorknob. Then, with a burst of adrenaline, I threw open the door. Empty. There was nothing there. but the feeling of dread lingered. It was like whatever was in the closet was still watching us, hiding in plain sight. From that night on, we slept with the lights on. Section 6. A Figure in the Dark. One evening I was home alone, working late in my office. The house was quiet, the only sounds the tapping of my keyboard and the occasional creak of the old floorboards. As I glanced up at the doorway, I noticed something out of the corner of my eye. A dark figure, tall and slender, standing in the hallway, just outside my office door. I froze, my breath catching in my throat. The figure was still, unmoving. It felt like it was staring right at me. My mind raced, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. Was it a trick of the light, a figment of my imagination? But deep down I knew better. This was real. Then, as quickly as it appeared, the figure vanished, gone. I was left shaken, my heart pounding in my chest. I knew then that we were dealing with something beyond our comprehension. I had tried to shield my family from the full extent of what was happening. I didn't want to scare them, but I couldn't keep it to myself any longer. I confided in my sister, telling her everything, the strange occurrences, the eerie feelings, the dark figure in the hallway. To my surprise, she believed me. More than that, she had experienced it too. She had been staying with us for a few weeks and she had seen it. The same dark figure standing in the hallway outside her bedroom door. We were both terrified. It wasn't just me, it wasn't just my imagination. Something was happening in that house and it was affecting everyone who dared to step inside. The events culminated on a crisp autumn day, September 11th, 2021. It started innocently enough. My family and I were having a picnic in the woods behind our house. The sun was shining, the birds were singing. For a moment, it felt like everything was normal, but the peace was shattered. My daughter came running back from the edge of the woods, her eyes wide with terror. "Daddy," she cried, "I saw a girl in the woods." I dismissed it at first. Children have active imaginations, but something in her voice made me stop. "What girl?" I asked, my heart sinking. "She was wearing a white dress," my daughter whispered, her voice trembling, and she had no face. I felt a chill run down my spine. I knew with a sickening certainty that this was no ordinary girl. This was something else entirely. We packed up our things and left the woods immediately. As we drove away, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. The events that unfolded in that house were more than just strange occurrences. They were a terrifying glimpse into a realm beyond our understanding, a realm where the laws of nature seemed to bend and break. For years, I had been a skeptic. I didn't believe in ghosts or the paranormal, but after living in that house, I couldn't deny it any longer. There was something there, something dark and powerful. The experiences shook me to my core. They tested my sanity, my beliefs, my very perception of reality. I realized that the world is a much stranger and more mysterious place than I ever could have imagined. We moved out of that house in early 2022. We couldn't take it anymore. The constant fear and tension were taking their toll. We left behind more than just a house. We left behind a part of ourselves, a part that will never be the same. Even now, years later, I still think about that house. I think about the things we saw and heard, the things we couldn't explain. I'm not sure what to make of it all. But I know one thing, we are not alone. There are forces at work in this world that we cannot see or understand. Forces that can reach out from the shadows and touch our lives in ways we never thought possible. The experience left me with more questions than answers, but it also left me with a profound sense of awe and wonder. The world is a much bigger and more mysterious place than we can possibly imagine, and sometimes the things we fear the most are the things that make us feel most alive.